Okay, so for this video, we're going to be finding the maximum and the minimum when we're given an equation. So there's two really important things that you're going to look at when you're dealing with the maximum and the minimum. First thing that you want to identify is the midline of your graph. That'll tell you where your graph has its middle point. Second thing that you want to look for is the amplitude in your equation, because that's going to tell you from the middle point of your graph how high and how low it goes. That way you're actually able to find out the maximum point and the minimum point of each part. It really doesn't matter at all if A is negative or positive, because if it's flipped upside down, you'll see that you're having the same maximum and minimum values. Same thing for if it was flipped upside down for cosine. So you're really just looking at A and M to determine the minimum and the maximum of your graph. So for our first example, I'm going to sketch myself a coordinate plane. It's a sine function, and I have a midline of 15, and I have an amplitude of 5. So if I have a midline of 15, I'm going to go up to my graph and draw that. And if I have an amplitude of 5, that tells me that whenever I'm drawing my sine function, like so, from the midline from this 15, the amplitude tells me that I'm going up 5 and down 5. So if I'm going up 5 from the 15, I have a max of 20. If I'm going down 5 from the 15, I have a minimum of 10. So minimum 10, maximum 20. Then you can do it again with more examples. This time I'm going to draw myself another coordinate plane. I have a midline of 1. So I'm going to go up 1 on my graph. 1 right here is the middle value. And I have a sine graph, and it's upside down. I can keep going if I'd like. And I know that from the midline of 1, my amplitude tells me that my high peak is up 4. So from 1, that gets me to 5. And my low peak is down 4. So from 1 minus 4 takes me to negative 3. So I have a minimum of negative 3. I have a maximum of 5. We have this example where we have nothing added on to the end of our equation, so that's really like a plus 0. So our graph has a midline that isn't shifted up at all. My cosine function is just going to have a midline directly on the x-axis. But I know that my high peak is up 15, my low peak is down 15. So up 15, down 15 would take me to negative 15 and positive 15. And then for the last example, you don't have to be sketching these out each time. If you just know that the middle of your graph is at negative 6, and the amplitude is 2, it doesn't matter that it's a negative. That tells you that it's going to be going 2 units above negative 6, so that takes me to negative 4. And then 2 units below negative 6, so that takes me to negative 8. So my minimum is negative 8. My maximum is negative 4, and you don't have to draw yourself a coordinate plane.